Hello everyone, I am Teacher Glory and I welcome you on Learning English for Grade 12. I hope you will learn something from this. Enjoy! So for this video, we will be identifying the main idea from the passage that we will cover. So for this part, listen and read together with the audio that I will play. You can pause the video if you want to listen to it again.
If the salinity of ocean waters is analyzed, it is found to vary only slightly from place to place. Nevertheless, some of these small changes are important. There are three basic processes that cause a change in oceanic salinity. One of these is the subtraction of water from the ocean by means of evaporation, conversion of liquid water to water vapor. In this manner, the salinity is increased since the salts stay behind. If this is carried to the extreme, of course, white crystals of salt would be left behind. This, by the way, is how much of the table salt we use is actually obtained.
Read together with me this first sentence of paragraph 1. If the salinity of ocean water is analyzed, it is found to vary slightly from place to place. What relevance do you think this first sentence have? Especially this part, the salinity of ocean waters. Again, my question is, what relevance do you think this first sentence have? Okay, correct. It is the main idea or what passage is mainly talking about. After we have identified the main idea of this passage, let's learn its content. Take note of this word slightly. This word here means small changes in the salinity of ocean water. At the same time, there are three basic processes that cause a change in the oceanic salinity. Let's find out. One of these processes is the subtraction of water from the ocean by means of evaporation. And the meaning of evaporation here can also be found in the paragraph, meaning conversion of liquid water to water vapor or to a gas. Then, what really is this salinity? Salinity is a measure of the amount of salt in water, especially sea water. If it is carried to the extreme, of course, white crystals would be left behind. Extreme here means to the furthest point. Look at this picture. This picture here shows the white crystals are formed salts carried from the furthest point to the shore. Again, for paragraph 2, listen and read together with the audio that I will play. You can pause the video if you want to listen to it again.
The opposite of evaporation is precipitation, such as rain, by which water is added to the ocean. Here the ocean is being diluted so that the salinity is decreased. This may occur in areas of high rainfall or in coastal regions where rivers flow into the ocean. Thus, salinity may be increased by the subtraction of water by evaporation or decreased by the addition of fresh water by precipitation or runoff.
In this paragraph, the opposite of evaporation is precipitation, such as rain, by which water is added to the ocean. In other words, this is the second basic process that causes a change in oceanic salinity. What is the number one again? Yes, the subtraction of water from the ocean by means of evaporation. And that's the reason why evaporation is the opposite of precipitation. Because 1 is a subtraction of water, while 2 is the addition of water to the ocean. So, let's define precipitation first. Precipitation is the water that falls from the clouds towards the ground, especially as rain or snow. As the water is added to the ocean, the salinity will decrease. And what is added to the ocean is a fresh water by precipitation, or also called as runoff. Water that flows from high areas to low areas is what you mean by runoff. So for this part, listen and read together with the audio that I will play. You can pause the video if you want to listen to it again.
Normally in tropical regions where the sun is very strong, the ocean salinity is somewhat higher than it is in other parts of the world where there is not as much evaporation. Similarly, in coastal regions where rivers dilute, the sea salinity is somewhat lower than in other oceanic areas. A third process by which salinity may be altered is associated with the formation and melting of sea ice. When seawater is frozen, the dissolved materials are left behind. In this manner, seawater directly beneath freshly formed sea ice has a higher salinity than it did before the ice appeared. Of course, when this ice melts, it will tend to decrease the salinity of the surrounding water.
While you were reading paragraph 3 a while ago together with the audio, where does the ocean generally has more salt in? The question is where? Correct! It is normally in tropical regions and coastal regions. When you say coastal regions, those land area near or next to the sea. A third process by which salinity may be altered is associated with the formation and melting of sea ice. Remember, in paragraph 1, altered has the same meaning as slightly or small changes. Then, the third basic process that causes change in the oceanic salinity is associated with the formation and melting of sea ice. This formation is when the seawater is frozen and then the dissolved materials are left behind. Dissolve here means absorbed by the liquid. And the seawater directly beneath freshly formed sea ice has a higher salinity than it did before the ice appeared. And it here refers to, yes, the sea water. Take note of this, that when the ice forms, it has a higher salinity, but when the ice melts, it decreases the salinity of the surrounding water. And again, listen and read a paragraph together with the audio. You can pause the video if you want to listen to the audio again.
In the Weddell Sea, off Antarctica, the densest water in the oceans is formed as a result of this freezing process, which increases the salinity of cold water. This heavy water sinks and is found in the deeper portions of the oceans of the world.
What you can see in the circled area of the map is the Weddell Sea off Antarctica. And this one is a closer look of Weddell Sea. Then, why do you think the sea is mentioned? Yes, of course, to give an example of cold water salinity. Remember that number 1, precipitation, runoff, and melting are processes that decrease salinity, except evaporation, because evaporation increases the salinity. Number 2, ocean ice formation results when? Letter A, the water salt remains in the water. Letter B, the surrounding water sinks. Letter C, the water becomes denser. I hope you get all the information you needed for this video. If you have comments about my presentation, feel free to ask. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Goodbye.